Hello, Flosstube. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. My name's Amanda. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my Flosstube cross-stitching channel, Sycamore Stitches. Um, like I said, if you're returning, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome, and I hope you stay for a little while. Um, I did my last Flosstube a week ago. I have some progress to show and some haul, which is the main reason why I did not want to put off this video. I didn't get a ton of stuff, but like it's like involved with like kitting and stuff, and it has been taking up my table. So I was hesitating to put it all away until after I did a video. So definitely don't want to put this off anymore. Um, and I did manage to get some good stitching done this week, despite the fact that I get most of my stitching done during the day when my kids are at school, and my husband he works at home, but he's like down in the basement. But last week, I taped on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, my husband was home from work, which, I mean, he works from home, but like he was in the living room and on the first floor instead of downstairs. And then Thursday and Friday were snow days. So my kids were all home. And on Friday, we even had to do a virtual school day because apparently, snow days don't exist anymore, which is ask anybody who has small children and, well, school age children and has already probably done virtual schooling for an entire year last year, and then ask them how they feel about, having to teach their kids and get them signed on their snow days. We don't like it. I mean, the kids don't like it. I don't get it. Yes, it's wonderful that we have virtual platforms as an option, but like, come on, it's a snow day. Let's just not do school. Anyhow, whole nother thing. Anyhow, so all that to say, my kind of quiet time during the day um, was impacted a little last week between kids and husband home and everything. So I still managed to get some stitching done, but it wasn't kind of like my normal schedule. And my work has also started picking up a little bit. No births this week, but like just lots of like new clients and scheduling and meetings and communications. So that's good because, like I said, I've been on a bit of a hiatus for the last couple months. I'm a doula, so my workflow tends to give me sometimes large chunks of time where I'm not doing that much, and then gets it can get intense when I'm on the other end of that. So I might be entering a period of that in the future, in the near future here. So I guess we'll see. But for now, still time to stitch and talk to you guys. I also told you last week that I had hurt my right arm, my right shoulder, while skiing on my trip the previous week in Colorado. And it's still bugging me. It's a little better. The pain is lower. And as far as stitching goes, I'm starting to get back to kind of my norm for that. But I still can't lift things and lift my arm and stuff. And I suspect a rotator cuff tear. And then I went to the doctor last week, and they also suspect that. So that's probably not great. So I have an MRI later this month, and I guess we'll find out then what the plan is. But as far as stitching, just trying to see what I can do. It did involve me getting a lot more stuff ready for the Flosstube episode today, because normally I'm reaching around on my floor and picking up bags and stuff and like reaching is something that isn't as easy as it was. So anyhow, let's get into it. Because of my arm, well, actually, let me do haul before I do my whips. No, we're gonna do whips. Do whips first. So that is a work in progress. Oh, I guess I should say I didn't finish anything this week. I came close, but didn't. I didn't start anything new, and I didn't fully finish anything, even though I have several projects sitting up there waiting to be fully finished. And I even got a frame last week to do that for at least one of them, and did not do it. So another day. But the works in progress that I did work on this week, because of my arm, I was kind of taking it easy and only doing my projects that I had on 14 count Aida because that's easy. And there are 3 of those. So first let me start with, this one is called Clover Splash. It is from an Etsy store called Cross Stitch with Art, and the author says Marianna Oz. It's not that big. It says it's 93 by 93, but as you can see, most of the piece is white space that is not stitched. So it has been a quick stitch so far. It only has like 3,000 stitches in it total. When I showed it last time, I had one color done, which is that lightest green, and I think I have 2 more colors to do of the 7, but they don't have as many stitches as some of the previous colors. So like I only have about 450 stitches left to do on this. So another day or 2, depending on how, I mean, it'll be done this week. It depends on when I decide I want to do it, how many days it will be. I could easily finish this in one day. It'll be about like, it's probably about like 3 hours of stitching left. But I'm at 83%. Like I said, 2 colors left. And I did about 1,600 stitches this week. So this was like what I did a lot of my work on. This is like going to be a gift for someone that I need done in March. So I should, like I said, finish stitching it this week. I have no idea how I'm going to fully finish this. And I have a couple weeks to figure that out and do it before it will need to be given. I mentioned before too that I have plans before I put this away after I finish it. I will be redoing this sometime in the future with a forest green Aida and changing the color so that the shamrock, the clover in the middle, will be green instead of white. And I will be giving that one to my daughter, whose name is Clover. So she loves all things Clover, of course. But obviously I'm not gonna start that soon because I don't want to do a piece twice in a row, even if it will look different. So I thought I might finish that one, but I didn't. I could have if I buckled down, but there were other things I felt like stitching on as well. So I guess next I'll show you this piece because I just mentioned that I will redo that piece on a forest green Aida. This is the forest green Aida I will redo it on. Like I got a bigger chunk of this that I'm doing this piece on. Whoopsies. And I saved part of it to do that future project on. You know what? Let me show you the picture first, and then I'll show you my project. This is from Emma Congdon, Cross Stitch for the Earth. I love this book. I love Emma Congdon, who's also known as Stitchrovia. That's her Etsy shop. And this one says, "Between two pines is a doorway to a new world." And I just love that that a lot of the picture is actually created by the fabric itself, by the negative space. Do you see a trend here? Negative space clover, negative space trees. Apparently I like negative space, or I'm in the mood for it right now. So let me take my needle minder off of this middle section. Had it right in the middle of the sun. So this is coming along nicely. What I did this week is, it's hard to tell. If I come in, no, you can't really tell. But there's 2 shades of pink on this top half, and I was on the darker shade of pink, which is above, and I finished all of that pink, which was basically, I think I was about here, so I had to come up and then do the sides as well. It was actually quite a lot of stitching, which is why then I set this down. Even though I was like rocking and rolling on it, I was like, ugh, I need a break. So there are 2 more greens to finish this out, and just the yellow of the sun. 3 more colors. Apparently I'm also in a mood to color complete. That's how I was doing the Clover splash. That's how I'm doing this one. But you can see almost all the words except for between 2 is a little bit in the sun. And you're starting to see the little deer that's down here drinking. So I would like to finish this one, and I think like the next 2 weeks I think would be doable. By the end of February max, but I think I can probably 2 weeks I could probably be done with this one. Okay. Next, my next Aida piece is called Ski Lift by Awesome Pattern Studio. And it has some wonderful bright blue colors in there. It's much bigger than I originally thought. I feel like my progress is so slow. I did about, let's see, what did I say? 475 stitches on this week. I filled in this dark blue here and down the sides and under the cloud, and did some more filling in of this blue here. I had outlined, you can see that I've outlined some of the pieces because this was my travel piece, and so I had done some outlining so that I could just fill in. So this continues to be a good fill-in piece. I need to finish the sky, and then there's mountains, and then there's trees. I still got a ways to go. I'm only at 37.8%. Man, I think I thought that it would be close to, let me see, as I break things. I made this piece this summer, which was, sorry for the glare, like this circle camping piece. And in my head, this was going to be like my winter version of it. Obviously it's a lot bigger. You can see that circle is way bigger. So I think in my head, I thought that it would take a similar amount of time as this one. I'd probably be almost done already, but it is a much bigger circle. Whoops, sorry about that bang right behind you. But my goal for this is to finish it by the first day of spring. I don't know if that's attainable. I'll be able to tell more once I get there. That's about 6 weeks away. I mean, I'm sure it could be attainable. Whether I'll actually do it or not, we'll see. We'll see. So those are my 3 Aida pieces that I had been primarily working on this week. As I was prepping, writing things down, getting ready to do Flosstube today, this morning, it's afternoon now, so anyhow, I was just thinking about some of my other whips that I haven't touched for a couple weeks, both due to traveling and then my arm injury. And I really, really missed my twisted rainbow sampler. So I pulled it out and I did some work on it this morning. So it is awesome. A whip here. Oh, here, let me show you the picture first. It says Twisted Rainbow Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. So pretty. It has all these diagonal bands. Every other band is cross stitch and specialty stitches. This is my first time using silks which these are the ones just I haven't used yet. So this is a Dinky Dye Silk that I'm using on this, on a 32 count black linen. And I'm on band number 3. Sorry. So all I did this morning was, I was on this cross stitch band and I was probably around here. And so I just finished it. Just spent maybe like hour plus, hour and a half. So I finished that color. I haven't finished this band because now the second half of the band will be the next color. You change colors in the middle of each band. So I just finished my 3rd color of, I think 18. I think there's 18 colors, 19 bands. So, and of course it's easy to get to through the colors at this point because these are the smaller bands. They will get obviously much bigger as we go down in the diagonal. But also I really loved the first 2 colors. They really popped. This last color, now partially I'm just not really into yellows. Let me grab my, which is unfortunate because I have like 3 more yellows before I get to the more fun stuff. So this one had a slight variegation in it too. It just didn't pop very well. And something about, I feel like just this silk itself compared to the first 2 skeins was just fuzzier. I'm not really sure why that is, but I'm happy to be off of this one. And even though I'm not a fan of yellows and like yellow oranges, I feel like this next one is going to be a little more, it's going to pop against the black a little bit. I'm all about colors. I'm all about bright colors. I'm not really into yellows. So I have this, which is kind of more like a light orangey yellow, and then I have 2 more yellows, and then I get to the more fun colors. So I might have to push a little through these next couple. Let me put this back away. But I was happy to get back into this one because this is kind of a little bit more detailed, a little more involved piece. I had been worried that wouldn't do well with my arm. I usually use 2 hands because I'm using like a laying tool, which probably I don't need to do, but I was just trying something different with this. But it went pretty well this morning. So I am feeling much better about my ability to work on something that's not on 14 count Aida, which is good because I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't think this arm thing is going to I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be better. This is like more of a long-term healing thing. So I better get used to it. One other thing I forgot to mention when I was in the Shamrock one, which was interesting to me, is that I prefer stitching on a Q-snap. I think I have 1 scroll. I don't really like stitching in the hoops. At least the hoops that I have. They're too small. They bother my hands. I was stitching in a hoop on this one, but it was also not quite the right size and I was having to move it and I didn't like that. And it's a fairly stiff Aida and it's a fairly small piece. So I've actually been stitching this in hand and kind of liking it, which I don't ever stitch in hand. But I have been liking it just on this particular piece. And I don't know, I feel like if the piece is right, I might try that once in a while because I prefer the Q-snap, but I have a limited number of Q-snaps and don't want to just keep buying them. I think I have like 5 Q-snaps, so that's like enough. I don't need to keep buying. I have 5 Q-snaps and 1 scroll rod. I have more hoops, but I don't really like the hoops. So anyhow, that was my experiment at stitching in hand and it's going well so far. So I guess we'll, I don't know if I'll try another project doing it that way or not. We'll just have to see. So that's it for whips this last week. And now how about haul? Haul's always fun. So I joined a Fabric of the Month club with Fortnight Fabrics. So I just got a few days ago my January fabric from them. They have a lot of options as far as like size of your fabric, type of fabric, count of fabric, and then there's also like, I don't know, like 5 maybe different clubs you can join depending on like neutrals, colors, stuff like that. So I have an 1/8 yard of 32 count Lugana is what I have picked for mine. And I'm in the Groovy Gradients club, which is how I understand it to be like a color, one color, like in this case it was blue, and then like taking like 2 shades of it and merging them. That's my understanding. Anyhow, this is the piece I got for January. It is so pretty. It's like a light blue and a dark blue, obviously, modeled together. And this is called Car Wash. I guess the Groovy Gradients are named after Groovy songs, which I've only seen 2, but apparently that means disco songs. I don't know, maybe it doesn't always. But so I got this and I'm like, well, I gotta figure out what I'm going to make with that, because I don't know why I joined a Fabric of the Month club, because I've said before I'm not super keen on having a ton of stash and I like to know what I'm doing with things. But all this is going to mean is that I'm just going to kit up more stuff. So that's okay. So I had a piece that was already kitted up, but I like this fabric better, so I'm going to switch the fabric because I haven't started it yet. That's one advantage to just kitting up everything and not starting everything, is that you can change your mind, which is great. So again, from Emma Congdon's Cross Stitch for the Earth, this says, "The earth has music for those who listen." And I had originally, you can see it's on, they say oatmeal is what it's called for, but I had a Monaco, 28 count Monaco that was called Tea Dyed. So just kind of a brown, kind of very similar to what is in the picture, which looks great. But don't you think this is going to look better? I mean, it's going to look like the sky, which is perfect. The only thing, I will show you kind of my floss toss here in a minute, is that you'll notice that the word listen has these 2 blues. They're kind of almost like aqua blues, and then it's also in the little bellies of some of the birds. I don't think I'm going to like that color on this fabric. So let me show you and give me your opinions if you care to and you're watching this. Here's my initial floss toss, right? These are the colors besides that color I mentioned. Browns. There's a couple other greens actually that aren't on here because they're in another project. Some browns, greens, and like dusty pinks, which I think these all look good on this fabric. Now here's, see if I can do this. Here's those greens. They show up okay. It's not like you can't see them, but I just don't really like them as much as, like, say, the dusty pink against the blue. They're very pretty colors. I'm just not keen on them there. So here's what I propose to do. Switch them with some dusty purples. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think that looks better. What do you think? Greens, purples? I would love to hear what you think, but also I think I'm kind of set in my mind, so I'm not sure if I'm going to change my mind away from the purples. Anyhow, and like I said, it's just the bellies of the birds and the word listen, so it's not like integral to the part. So I think I'm going to make this color change and this fabric change to this kitted up piece, and it makes me really want to start that piece now sooner rather than just have it in there. So that leaves me with some of this fabric that I have. Only half of it, so like this much of it. The other half was already for something else anyhow. So I think that I'm going to use this for this piece I just bought recently called Cordillera from Pigeon Coop Designs. This is a slightly darker, so I'm going to have to like toss the floss, but I think so. And then this was a free chart from Al Forest Embroidery. It says it right there. I can actually fit both of these on the same piece I was going to use for that other piece. So I think I'm going to do that. And actually I did place an Al Forest order, so I don't know when that'll get here. I'll show it obviously when it does. But I ordered the flosses for this because I love that variegation and I really didn't want to do a DMC conversion. And also it's a free chart, so like I'm going to splurge on the flosses, right? So there's that. That was my first bit of haul, was just a piece of fabric, and then I talked for like ever about it. Okay, the next thing that I got was, I talked last week about the Sea Lily Aida that I was going to use for this Ink Circles piece, Dilly Dahlia, which isn't very big, but I'm having a lot of glare today. There you go. So let me take this out. Maybe that'll help. This calls for just 5 colors. I didn't have the flosses yet. That's what I got in my haul. It called for Weeks Dyeworks, which I've never used. I haven't used many flosses aside from DMC at this point, but I'm trying to branch out a little. So there's 3 purples and 2 greens in this, and I love the purples. And even the dark green isn't too bad, but like this light green, which is like this yellow green, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it in this picture. I'm definitely not a fan of it against the fabric that I plan to use. So I decided to make just a conversion of the 2 greens, but that was easier said than done because I don't have a store where I can go buy these flosses. So I was doing it on Etsy, and like I'm just looking at pictures of flosses on Etsy and trying to figure out what I want, and I can't hold them against you know, each other or my fabric. But they came in the mail, and I actually think that they look pretty good. So first I'm going to show you the three purples that it did call for, which look very good, I think, against this. Eggplant, lilac, and basil. And basil is like a dusty purple into like a tan brown variegation. They're all variegated, but like these two are just like variegated within their shades, and that one's like kind of interesting. And so these are the 2 greens I picked. For the dark one, this one's called Holly, and it's a pretty dark green. And then for the contrasting color, this is called Blue Spruce. I think they all look good on the fabric and together. I like them a lot better. Hopefully I will once I stitch it. So that was my other haul, was these flosses. And for some reason, I had ordered another one. I don't know if I was just like looking for other options, but it's kind of funny because this one is called Seafoam. And it's almost exactly the color of my fabric. So obviously I can't use that on this fabric. Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it'd be kind of silly because it's like the same color. But it is a pretty color, so I guess this will just go somewhere for something later on. But also interesting because if you see them all together, It's all the colors of the project, including the fabric, kind of. I mean, pretty darn close. So, how do we do this? Twist them? Yeah, you can kind of see them. Anyhow, so that was my second thing. Along the same lines, because this is a very large piece of fabric and I had been talking about using it for several projects. Originally, I bought it for this project, Here Comes the Sun by Shannon Christine Designs, but then I had so much left over that I got the Dilly Dahlia, and then this one I just got off Etsy, which is a big monochromatic peacock, which, where is my stuff? I don't know where the original one, I had a thread. Anyhow. I had one skein of this Threadworx color, which is called Tapestry. It's $11.39. I think it's called Tapestry. And I think I like it on here, and it made me think of peacocks, which is why I bought that. And I just needed 2 more skeins of it, so I ordered those. So I have 3 skeins altogether, although where the original one went beats me. Also, though, I noticed when I was playing with these other pieces over here that these 2 DMCs look very good with that. So I think that I might, first off, I don't plan to do the outer border. My piece of fabric would have been cutting it really close, and I just don't feel like I need it. So I'm going to do the peacock and then this inner border, and that's it. So now I think that my plan right now is to do the feathers in the Threadworx, the variegated floss, which is the majority of the piece. And then maybe do his body, his head and body in maybe like the green. And then do the inner border in the purple. I don't know. I don't know if that's what I'll do or not. But I wrote down the numbers of these flosses that I liked with it, and we'll see what I end up doing. But I do want to start this Dilly Dahlia one fairly soon, but the peacock one probably won't for a little bit. And I get this Threadworx from an Etsy store called AncoraCrafts, ANCORA. So there's that. Okay, I think that's all. No, almost all my haul. I also went to Joann's yesterday. I just needed some random. Oh, hey, look, there's that Threadworx. It got tossed in there. I did not buy that at Joann's. I wish. I just needed some random DMC for some different things that I just didn't have and needed for kitting. And my ski lift, I ran out of my blue. And seemed like I was going to, I felt like I just needed a ton of 5200. So got all that. Also got a light effects that I need for a piece that's this kind of bluish, greenish. This is so pretty, but I can already tell just by touching it, looking at it, this is going to be like a bitch to work with. So, I guess we'll see. And, oh, everybody, I know everybody here on Flosstube likes to talk about using Anchor Black instead of 310. I can totally see why, because 310 does seem to like just be, the texture of it's not great and it gets in knots very easily. So anyhow, there was a little spool of Anchor Black. It was just a small spool. It cost like 79 cents. And I was like, I'm going to grab some of that. I'm going to give it a try next time I feel like I'm doing something with some 310 and give it a try. So that's what I got at Joann's. Okay. What else? Plans. Okay, I've talked about some of my plans already. Finish Shamrock. Clover Splash. It's called Clover Splash. That's the name of it. For some reason, I just started calling it Shamrock. Finish this week. Shouldn't be hard. And then I was just kind of like thinking about the winter pieces I had started and how I wanted to kind of like get through them, so that I could start some spring pieces I wanted to start, because that's only in 6 weeks. So I know these aren't traditionally winter, but like this was one of my winter pieces because it's pine trees and it made me think of winter. So I want to finish that one in the next couple weeks, and I want to finish Ski Lift by the first day of spring. And then some of the ones I'm thinking about using for my spring starts are my Owl Forest Dragonflies. I'd love to start that for the spring. And there's a 4 Seasons piece in, again, the same book that I wanted to do, and I thought I would do a quarter of it each season, and the first block of it is spring, so I would like to start that in spring as well, and like just, you know, hopefully be able to finish a block each season and in a year to be done. I guess we'll see. So those 2 I want to start, as well as I have one in here. Again, wow, there's so many I'm pulling out of this book right now. I'm in a phase. That will be a gift. I tried to cut down on the gifts I'm doing this year, but I have the one in March, and then I have one I'm going to be doing this one for May, and then I don't know that I have any planned besides that right now. So I need to start this one, I think, at the latest by the beginning of March, to give myself 2 months to do it, to be done by May. So yeah, the gift, the dragonflies I want to do, the 4 Seasons. I'd love to start that Dilly Dahlia, and it's kind of small, I think. And now I really want to do the Earth Music one because of the new fabric. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Right now I have a system where I only have 6 whips in rotation. I like to keep my numbers low. I like to finish things. I also like to keep my things on their Q-snaps, and I don't have a ton of Q-snaps. So it's kind of also motivated by that. I'm open to the idea of maybe having a little more, but not quite yet. Right now I have, like I said, 6 active whips, and 3 of them are kind of smaller pieces that feel finishable in a couple months, and then 3 of them are larger pieces, and I kind of want to keep that going. And I think I might give myself in the future, not quite yet, but in the future, I'm going to give myself a little bit of flexibility, at least on the 3 of the larger ones, where if I want to put one of them away for a little while, that would make sense and make room for something else. But my smaller ones, most of them, I don't really want to put them away. Like, if they're manageable sizes, I kind of want to just finish them before I start something new. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm just kind of thinking it through and thinking I might give myself a little bit more flexibility. One of the large pieces I have right now is my Peppermint Purple Stitch Along from 2021. I'm not usually feeling that one, which is, I actually really like it when I do it. It's black work. I really like the designs, but I find myself never wanting to pick it up, even though once I do, I like it. So I might put that one back away for a little bit and make room for something else. Possibly. We'll see. It's not even on a Q-snap. It's on my scroll frame. But maybe I could put something on my scroll frame because I also like that. Anyhow, maybe I'll just end up buying a few more Q-snaps. Who knows? Um, Trying to keep things a little manageable. I know it's super hard when you're sitting here watching Flosstubes and everybody's got like a million whips and is starting things all the time. But I don't want to get too carried away with that. I know that how my head works. I know I'm a completionist, and I know that having a lot of unfinished things hanging around is not going to like feel peaceful to me. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's where I'm at right now. Anyhow, I've rambled long enough. Thanks for sticking around if you're still here. Um, and I'm starting to get a lot more caught up on watching other floss tubes. I got really behind there in like December, and there was so much content. Um, but yeah, thanks for sticking around, and hope you're staying safe and healthy. Um, and I'll see you next time, probably in a week, but I guess we'll see. Okay, bye.